I'm so glad to see you here today. Welcome to Unity of Tacoma. I'm so glad that you decided to join us on this beautiful summer morning. Today is a good opportunity to join us because we are going to have what I believe will be a healing opportunity. We're going to spend a lot of time in contemplation, a lot of time in meditation, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means to heal on a different level. So, in the quantum field. So, we're going to talk about that today. My name is Lori Irwin Johnson, and I am the spiritual leader for today. I'm so excited that you've decided to join us, and it's going to be a wonderful day, and I'm looking forward to it. For those of you that just came in or that are just watching for the first time, please make sure that you have a piece of paper and a pencil or pen, or you can have your cell phone with a notebook in it, and just get ready to make some notes because we're going to be using those today as a theme as we move through this healing service. So please make sure that you're ready and prepared. And if you don't have a pen or paper right now, that's absolutely fine. You can go back and watch this, or you can make a mental note and write it down later. So either way, I'd like you to participate. It's going to be a wonderful service, and I'm looking forward to it. All right. Before we go into anything else, I want to invite Victoria. Victoria, do you have some announcements for us?
Well, yes. I think first of all, welcome everybody. Um, Enjoying the summer and this wonderful weather while we have it. Um, this weekend, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's Porch Fest is happening on 6th Avenue in town between Alder Street and Sprague. And 6th Avenue and 12th was yesterday. Today, for the first time, it's going to extend into the north side of town. 6th Avenue is the divider north and south. And so today it's going to go from 2 o'clock until, excuse me, noon till 6 today. And Porch Fest is where people donate their porches to have bands and singers and music of all kinds come be on their porches. And it's a walking festival for people in all that area of town is blocked off. So people can walk through and enjoy all the porches. And some of the porches even have food. So that's one thing that's going on today. Um, Next week, on the 19th, on Saturday, we at Unity of Tacoma are going to be doing our sandwich making at the South Surge building at the corner of South 54th and South Tacoma Way. And we start at 11 o'clock and we're done around 12:30. And I hope all of you that are interested in coming show up. That's right on the corner. You enter on the corner. There is parking at the rear of the building for extra parking. Um, we are making sandwiches for the homeless. We make 100 sack lunches and provide water as well for the unhoused of Tacoma. This is a monthly activity. From now on will be the first Saturday of the month. Um, and so that will continue starting in August. Also, next weekend is another busy weekend. Next weekend is the big Lavender Festival in Sequim that happens annually. Several of us, I believe, are going. So if you're interested, we can do a meetup. Also, if you're staying in Tacoma next weekend, I believe is Mosaic, and that's the big festival at Wrights Park that happens every July. So it's a busy time here in Tacoma, Grit City, and enjoy our summer, enjoy our people, um, be kind to each other, greet each day with love, and knowing that you can make a difference, even if it's a teensy weensy small little gesture you do. You never know, it may be just what somebody needed today. Have a good week, everybody.
Thank you, Victoria.
Welcome.
All right. The only other thing I would like to mention is that next week we have David Elliott will be our guest speaker next week. And we have musical guest, Christine S. Young. I think maybe is it next week? Maybe. Oh, let's skip that for now. David Elliott will be with us in the next couple Sundays. I will make sure that I update that on my calendar. So, all right. So let's start off our service before we go into anything else. I want to talk about first, before we start, that we are going to be talking about the science of becoming whole. So we're going to take a deeper dive in what it means to heal ourselves from the inside out. So we often look towards something outside of us. So we go to the doctor, we go to our chiropractors, we go to our massage therapists, we go to our acupuncturists, we go to all of these things, our therapists, our mental health therapists, to help us, to support us. However, that healing that we do in each and every moment comes from within. So even though we have all of these support people, we are the ones that need to do the healing. So we're going to be talking a little bit about that today. So I want to start off first with the prayer for protection. So let me pull that up for you so you can see the words if you do not know them. And let's say the prayer of protection together. Why is that there? Let's do that. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. And wherever we are, God is and all is well. And while we're sitting here and we have these beautiful slides up, let's go and say our affirmation for together. I am whole. I am healing. I am becoming. I am a powerful co-creator of my life. Take a breath. And let's say that again. I am whole. I am healing. I am becoming. I am a powerful co-creator of my life. It was during the pandemic that I was reintroduced to the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza. And anybody that knows me knows that I talk about Dr. Joe quite a bit. But to be honest, I have difficulty applying Dr. Joe's ideas, not because I don't believe in them. I absolutely do believe in them and know that they work. However, I am a human being. And so even though I spout all of these beautiful and wonderful ideas about healing and wholeness and being the best that we can be in our greatest good, I also have to be reminded. I also have to be motivated. I also have times where I'm down and struggling. And so just to let you know that this idea of healing and wholeness is not an end game. It is a constant practice. It is something that you will do in your life until the next life. And I don't know, because I haven't been in the next life, I don't know if that continues on, but I am going to assume that it does. So learning how to heal from within, to use the resources that we have, is really, really important. So during the pandemic, my husband and I really got into Dr. Joe Dispenza. And there are two reasons why. One, because we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't do anything. And the other reason is because my husband had bypass surgery. So he had a quadruple bypass. And so we were looking for new ways, new possibilities for us to remain healthy and whole, and to help him get to a space where he was healing and on the road to recovery. So we were able to go into Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, and we were lucky because the timing was just right. And so I'm going to explain that a little bit in a minute. But before we do that, I would like to go into meditation. And the reason I'd like to go into meditation is because Dr. Joe always starts with meditation. And what he does use, and he recommends that you use, is something called the kaleidoscope. Now, everybody knows what a kaleidoscope is. When we were kids, we had kaleidoscopes all the time where you just stick them up to your eye and you move them around, and the little crystals inside, they move around, make different shapes. And the reason he says that he likes to use the kaleidoscope is because it gets you into a meditative state. It gets you into that space of openness and that willingness to get into that brain space where you're open up yourself to wholeness and healing. And so we're going to do meditation to start with today. That's about 5 minutes long. That's going to get us into that space of wholeness and healing by using the kaleidoscope. Just to let you know, the kaleidoscope does move quite a lot. So if you have trouble with your eyes or your balance or anything like that, please close your eyes. You don't need to look at the kaleidoscope to get the benefits of the meditation. However, if you can tolerate the kaleidoscope on the screen, I would recommend that you did, because it does allow you to get into a space of meditation a little bit deeper. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that more after the meditation. So if we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to go into the kaleidoscope meditation. Just take a breath and bring your awareness to this present moment, to right where you are, sitting supported on the chair or the couch that you're sitting on. And just allowing. This is a time for meditation, a time for creation, a time for inspiration. Who do you want to be? This is where it all begins. Right here, right now, in this moment. Bringing your awareness inside your heart. Embracing all the elements of the world, knowing that the greatest good is always available and ready for your experience. This is how it begins, with intention, with attention, and availability. Take another deep breath in and prepare. Prepare for your greatest good. And just allow it to be. And as you sit and watch the colors on the screen, and allow the affirmations to become part of who you are. Faith is my foundation. I am strong and resilient. Inner wisdom guides my way. Divine love flows through me. Spirit is my source and power. I envision only the greatest good. I happily apply my heart to understanding. I affirm divine order in all things. I greet each day with zeal. I release the old and embrace the new. I am prosperous and live abundantly. I am filled with joy. Health and balance is my true nature. I am an instrument of peace. My friends and family bless me. It is so wonderful to be alive. And as we come to the silence, watching the screen change, the colors from green to yellow to gold to orange, just bring your awareness back to your heart, embracing all of the words that were spoken, all of the affirmations. It's from here that your greatest good will evolve.
Wow.
You are allowing this time, allowing yourself to be open and expecting it to arrive in in the best time and at the right space, knowing that this is the greatest you will ever have, and then more. You are divine love, and it flows through you, and it works through you and as you. And as we sit for just a moment in the silence, know that you are worth it. And as we come to the end of this meditation, take a deep breath and let it out. Another deep breath in and let it out. And we're so grateful for this time together. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your awareness back to this space. So now that you're completely in a space of openness, a space of knowing and receptiveness, a space of connection with that healing energy within yourself, I'd like to ask you a question. And this is where your piece of paper and your pencil is going to come in handy. It's a question that's not meant to make you feel guilty, like, oh, I should have been doing this all the time, or push you in any direction, like, oh, I need to do this. But it's a thing that's going to ask you to really reflect on where you are in your life. Are you ready? The question: when was the last time you felt truly whole and healed? When was the last time you felt truly whole and healed? Not just physically strong, not just emotionally balanced, but whole, connected, clear, at ease in your body, at peace in your mind, and grounded in your spirit. When was the last time you felt truly whole and healed? Now you can write that down. Anything that comes to mind, throughout this service, please write a note, because that's your spirit talking to you. Your body is allowing spirit to move through it and to give you the messages that needs to happen. When was the last time you felt truly whole and healed? Connected, grounded, and well. Now I'm going to let that sit with you for a moment as I talk a little bit about healing from a different aspect. So previously to seeing Dr. Joe's workshops, I had read all of his books. So he has several different types of books. He has the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Becoming Supernatural, and You Are the Placebo. So those are just the three that come off the top of my head right there. I read all of those books, and I was really excited during the pandemic that he had released the recordings of his first two workshops. So he has different levels of workshops, and I was able to stream those workshops that he no longer was giving them in person. He decided he was going to record the first two and then release them in this way. And it's a good thing he did, because during the pandemic, a lot of us were at home looking for a way to keep ourselves healthy and whole. And it became a really good opportunity. And interestingly enough, my friend Joni Lorraine is at Unity of Austin. And that is where he recorded these final two workshops. So I was really excited to hear that. And so Unity of Austin is really open to what Joe Dispenza is teaching. And they still have ideas and times for them to get together and talk about his concepts and to be able to meditate and pray together on health and healing, according to Dr. Joe. So for those of you who don't know Dr. Joe, he is from the Pacific Northwest, or he was here at the Pacific Northwest for several years. He worked out of Bellevue. He was a chiropractor, and he did a lot of workshops in this area. And one that specifically he refers to a lot that was in Tacoma at the Tacoma Dome that he uses in his research. So if you hear him talk about it, he will talk about it in workshops and things like that about his research at in Tacoma. So that's pretty exciting. But many of you might know him from the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? And if you've seen What the Bleep Do We Know, it's a groundbreaking movie. It's a docudrama, really, about what's going on in the world and how we can access the quantum field for our own health and healing. So that was when I was first introduced to Dr. Joe way back when that movie came out. So when you use the question that I asked you a minute ago, that's one of the things he will ask you in the workshop. When was it the last time that you felt whole? When was the last time you felt healed? And so that's a big question, I know. It's one that I asked myself many times, and I continue to ask myself to be able to allow myself to get grounded in what's happening in the moment. So I deal with chronic illness. I deal with chronic fatigue, and I also have chronic pain. So when you're in that space of illness and pain, it's hard to see outside of what it is you're experiencing. So it helps me. His ideas, his concepts, his way of being helps me to be able to thrive in the world and not just survive. So it's not just about getting to a place of being completely healed. Now, that's of course, we would all love to be healed, but that's not exactly what the unity movement has always pushed. Even though some people will get really caught on, I can heal myself, I can do this. Myrtle Fillmore did this, and I can heal myself. It's not about getting completely healed. It's about getting okay with who you are in the moment and then becoming the best you from that moment and moving forward. And in doing so, you become healed. Not in maybe the aspects or the ways that you think you should be, but in ways that you need to be. And we need to allow spirit to work through us and as us to get to that moment. It's a subtle shift. It's a shift from saying, well, I need to be perfectly well, to I am perfectly fine the way that I am. I am always becoming, always healing, always getting better. I'm always there. So we always think about it's the end game. This is what we want. I want this. I want to weigh this many pounds. I want to walk this many steps. I want to do all of these things. It's not just about the accomplishment. It's about the acceptance of your body where it is, the acceptance of who you are and where you've come from, the surrender to what is, and to open yourself up to the possibility of miracles happening, because they happen each and every day. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because if you don't know anything about Joe Dispenza, he was an athlete and a chiropractor when he was a young man. However, he did go through a tragic accident where he had to heal himself. He was in a bike accident. He was hit by an SUV during a competition he was in, and he suffered multiple vertebra fractures in his spine. And the doctors were recommending that he had a metal rod put in his spine. And they even said that even with that surgery, he may not ever walk again. But what he decided is that he wasn't going to have the surgery, which seems very radical. He chose not to have the surgery and instead to fully commit to getting into that deep level of healing in his cells, that space where we feel that we don't have access to, and to start healing ourselves, to allow that energy that comes from spirit, that deep space that moves through us and animates us, that he was going to access that information and be able to heal himself. So what he did is he started out spending hours every day in meditation. He visualized that his spine was healing and that he could see his vertebra healing one by one, all of them, and then coming together in a way that was working together so his spine would be completely erect and he was able to walk again. He didn't imagine it passively, and that was the big thing. He embodied it. Where he was stuck and unable to get out of his bed or was unable to move, he was embodying this experience. He brought the feeling of being whole. He brought the experience, his memories, his ideas of walking again. He brought the goal of living pain-free, and he lived it each and every moment of each and every day. He aligned his brain, he aligned his heart, and he created his future reality. And it did take several months. It was not an immediate remission, a healing, but after several months, he beat the odds and the expectations of all the surgeons and all the doctors that were with him, that told him that he needed to have this radical surgery. He began to heal, and the pain went away, and his fractures healed. He walked again, and he not only walked again, but he thrived. And today, and he's in his 60s now, and this happened when he was in his 20s, he is still thriving, still living his life, still moving around, still doing all the things he needs to do. He healed himself, and he is whole today. And he continues to do that each and every day. So you may be thinking, okay, so this is a rare experience. He's an outlier. Most people don't have that experience. And I agree, it's extraordinary. His experience and how he healed himself seems like a miracle. But that's what Dr. Joe absolutely teaches us. That the extraordinary is not only possible, that it is our natural healing right to be the person that we need to be. Our bodies can heal, our bodies can go back or go to the space of healing and wholeness. It can do that. Well, you cut your finger, and you're like, ouch. And then a couple days later, after you put a Band-Aid on it, take the Band-Aid off, you see that the cut is healed. I didn't do that consciously. We don't do that consciously. The body has the natural ability to heal. You just have to give it the right environment to do it. And that's what he did. He gave the right mindset, the right emotion, the right focus and attention and intention to get him to a space of healing. And so he didn't do that because somebody healed him. He didn't go to outside sources. And of course, he had his family, he had doctors, he had all of these things that were supporting him. But that healing happened from within out. He was the healer. He allowed that energy to move through him to be able to allow the body to do what it was that needed to be done. And he became healed and whole. So let's pause for a moment. Let's stop and think about that. How many times in your life have you been sick? It can be something small, something minor, like a cold or allergies even, or anything like a cut, like I was saying. How many times have you healed? The body is a miraculously beautiful, wonderful thing. And it's not a machine. It is an entity. It is a force. And so it does these things without our conscious effort. Not everyone is trying to get past, walking after this huge fracture that he had in this accident he was in. Not all of us are trying to get there. Some of us are just trying to get through the day with the aches and pains that we have, or the fatigue, or the ailments or the chronic illnesses that we have, or whatever it is. We may be wrestling with anxiety or some mental health issue, or we may have unresolved grief or trauma or something that's going on that we are dealing with. We all deal with it because we are human beings. And so we have these experiences all the time. So when we think about this, healing in the context of what I was saying with Dr. Joe is not just about physical recovery. He did more than recover his body because, he had to overcome the trauma of the accident itself, the fear that drove him to be able to go to put this much effort. He had to get past that because fear is one of those things, one of those emotions that will bring you down, that'll cause the body to get into a stress response, which is absolutely the wrong direction we want it to go. It's about reconnecting the parts of ourselves, about the fragments that we experience of all of the things, whether it be pain, fear, stress, past experiences, everything that's influencing who we are today, that is putting us into that fear-based thought process. It's about us getting past that, accepting that they are there. We don't want to deny those things because they are part of our experience. They have created who we are today. That pain, that past, that those memories that we carry with us, that's created who we are today. And we're grateful for that because we have become more resilient because of that. So we accept that that is part of who we are. However, we don't have to accept that as what we're becoming. We can accept that we are beyond our diagnosis, that we are beyond the stories that were created for us or have been created for us, and we're more than the wounds that we have. Dr. Joe says that we are not doomed by our genetics. We're not doomed by what our parents had, what our parents experienced, what our Aunt Martha might have experienced. We are allowing ourselves in our bodies to create and influence what our genetics is telling us. We're not at mercy to what was our past. Our bodies are, like I said, not machines. They're not machines that break down over time. Instead, we are energetic beings. We are beings of light. If you've ever noticed, if you've ever watched the movie What the Bleep, you know that we are just particles that come together in our physical realm. Our brains and our eyes see us as whole. But if you were not to observe this information, to observe the person in front of you, there would be just waves of information, waves of energy. We're all just waves of energy. And our brains and our eyes can see us as whole beings when we look at each other. So when you close your eyes and you're sitting in a room with a bunch of people, you can feel their energy. You don't see them. You might see them in your mind's eye, but you feel their energy. We are all energy. We're energetic beings, and we have the power to heal our bodies, to manipulate and influence the genetics that we have come into this life with during our emotional states of gratitude and joy and compassion and love. We can uplift. We can change the way that our body responds. The joy that we experience, the love that we experience, those are healing opportunities. And that is exactly what we need to do when we want to heal. Gratitude changes your biology. Love changes your immune system. All those elevated emotions, when they're sustained, has a real huge measurable effect on your heart coherence, your brain function, your hormonal balance, and even your DNA expression. So let me give you an example from Dr. Joe's workshops. Now, he does a lot of workshops all over the world, but he does the big kind. I mean, the smaller ones that I was able to watch and to stream, those are nothing compared to the ones he has on cruise ships, or he has in the Bahamas, or in Belize, or in Portugal. He has these big, huge conferences now. So when he gets into these conferences, they last sometimes between 3 days and a week. So they're really long and extensive. So during that time period, He gets people into this space of healing, meditation, prayer, communication, connection, upliftment. All of those things happen in these workshops. Excuse me. And so we're just not thinking during these workshops, I want to heal. But we're getting into that vibration, that energetic space of healing right now. So we come into these workshops going, oh, I'd really like to learn how to heal. He gets you into a space of healing in the moment. You are healing right now. So one woman came to his workshop with stage 4 cancer. And when she left, she was healed. She was cancer-free. Now that sounds like, he's selling a little bit of snake oil there. It's absolutely true. She was cancer-free. Another man came in a wheelchair. He had a neurological condition. He had MS, and he was having difficulty walking. And by the end of his workshop, he stood up, he walked around the room, and he enjoyed his day on his feet. So again, it sounds like it's something that he's trying to sell you. And of course, not all healings are dramatic, and not everyone in that space had that dramatic of a healing, but some people did. And so when we are open to the possibility that that miraculous healing can happen for us, that that ability to come into our space can happen, then we are opening up the possibilities. Otherwise, we may be sitting in the same space that we sat in yesterday, that we sat in the same before, in the same body, doing the same thing. We are not changing our mind. We're not changing our biology. We're not changing our emotions, and we're not changing our outcome. It is the same every day. And I promise you, the body always listens. So what does that mean? The body is always listening. It is hearing what you tell it. It is hearing what people say to it. It's what you're putting into your mind. It's the news that you're watching. It's the shows you're watching on TV. It is all of those things. Your body and your brain are always listening, always watching, always vigilant, waiting for the opportunity to go into an autoimmune response. An autoimmune response means that they're looking for things that they need to fight. What does the body need to fight off? And so when you're putting yourself into a space where you're feeding it negative thoughts, when you are telling the world that you are pulling it, that you want all these experiences, but you doubt, you have fear, all of those emotions that are fear-inducing, those are the things that you want to avoid, because your body and brain are listening. And so if that's a fearful thought, if that's a fearful emotion, then we have to go into the fight or flight mode. And when we're in that fight or flight mode, the body kicks in and you go into an autoimmune response. And when that happens, then it can become, when you become an autoimmune response, you are starting to destroy, the cells are starting to destroy themselves. You don't want that. You don't want any of that. You want to stay in a space of homeostasis where you don't go into an immune response that can go into an autoimmune response. You want to be able to be in a healing space. And because we are reactive people, human beings are reactive. Our brains and bodies react in ways that we're not conscious of. And the whole idea behind Dr. Joe's talks is we have to be conscious. We have to be aware. And it's a powerful process that he offers us, this opportunity to be present each and every moment of each and every day. I know that sounds like a lot, like you have to be hypervigilant, and that's not it at all. You have to surrender to this moment, accept that this is what's happening. Yes, I have fear, I have anger, I have guilt, I feel unworthy, all of these things. I accept that they're there, but I don't judge it. Because when you're in a mindful state, when you start to put a definition on what's happening. So let's say I'm afraid. Okay. So that when you say that, you have all of these memories of all the things that you were afraid of in the past, all of these things. Fear has a certain response already set in your body, and it'll bring it out. And what does that mean? You could have a stress response. You could have anger. You could feel guilt, and all of that becomes a cascading of negativity that your body doesn't need. We want to shift from these negative ideas, these negative thoughts that induce these negative emotions, and move into a space of joy and gratitude and love and appreciation. Because when we do that, we are teaching the body to stay away from the immune response, and thus staying away from the autoimmune response that attacks the body that causes the illness that we are experiencing. Because the number one cause of death is not old age in this country. It is chronic illness, and chronic illness, most of them are caused or are bad contributors. Stress is one of those contributors, is what I'm trying to say. Stress is one of those things that we need to eliminate. Now they talk about, oh, we need to eat better, we need to exercise. Absolutely we do. But we also need to remember that stress is the third leg of that stool. We need to take away the stress and start thinking in a way that allows ourselves to get into a space of healing and wholeness. So I know that sounds like a lot. It's like, oh, sure, I can do that right now. Yes, we can. But like anything that we do in our lives, it takes practice. Practice. Meditation takes practice. Prayer takes practice. It is a practice. It's not a perfection, because there never is a perfection. There is always evolution, always change, always evolving. So we will always be in the best space we can be if we allow it to occur. But most of the time we get in our own ways. How many times have you said, I want this. I'm going to set this goal for myself. I'm going to eat better. I'm not going to eat chocolate, but that'll never be a goal that I'll create for myself, just to let you know. That is a goal that I cannot maintain. I know my limits. But if I were to say, oh, I'm not going to eat chocolate anymore, how often do you slide? How often do you say, oh, I got to have that chocolate? And then you do. It's not because we're weak. It's because our bodies are used to what it is that it's used to. It's used to chocolate. It's used to the adrenaline that you get, not the adrenaline, the endorphins that you get when you eat the chocolate. It wants that because it needs that. It needs to be able to create this space of homeostasis and joy and so it looks for things to make you feel better. And chocolate for me is one of those feel good things. And so I seek that. But there are other things that people seek to be able to get into that feel good space. And whether it be alcohol or drug use or food or exercise or whatever it is, they're looking for this quick fix. And unfortunately, there is no quick fix. So we are looking for something to happen overnight. And it's not. We didn't become who we are overnight. I am almost 58 years old. I'll be 58 next month. 58 years of who I have been is who I am today. Everything that I've done in my life for 58 years is who I am today. So I am not going to change who I am quickly. However, the brain is extremely malleable. It can be changed quicker than you think. And there are lots of ways you can do it. So I'm going to tell you about that. And we're going to break the habit, like he says, of being ourselves. We have habituated ourselves to being what we are today. So let's break the habit of being ourselves. So the body is a miracle. It is a miracle. And it can unlearn those patterns. So there are times in your life that you've had habits that you've dropped. Things that you may have stopped smoking, or you may have stopped drinking soda, or whatever it is in your life that you've stopped that you used to do all the time. You have the capacity to do something new. And the best way to do that is replacing it with something that the old with something new. Replace the old with a new habit. What is it that you did before? What is the thing that you're going to create? So we're going to create a new habit, and we're going to create the habit of who we're becoming and not who we are or who we were before. And that allows us then, as Dr. Joe says, we're getting into that quantum field where we're getting into that space of pure possibility, that the past doesn't dictate who we are in the future, where the energy of who we are begins to shift. And then it responds to what it is that we would like to become, instead of what it is that who has by our circumstances and our world and in our experiences in our lives have created who we are today. So to be honest, this is not easy for me because I am a creature of habit. I love schedules. I love keeping things the way that they are because my body likes to feel safe. I don't know about you, but I think that it's important for my body to feel safe. True. But am I doing the right thing? Am I creating the right environment for my body? Because my body, and I know this for a fact, likes to be stressed out. In fact, when I was younger, I chose a job that was fast paced and that was stress inducing. And it kept me energized. It kept me doing what I needed to do. And I enjoyed it. And it became my passion. And I loved it. And it also got me to a space where I'm now dealing with chronic fatigue. I wonder why that is. Do you think maybe my body's like, okay, so you're not going to listen to me and take time to take a break. So I'm going to force you. And that's the beauty of the body. The body is smarter than we can ever imagine. And so let's look at what it is that we would like to have in our experience and create the environment that we would like to heal in. See, our bodies get used to living in a stress response. Our cells get used to living in the petri dish of adrenaline and cortisol in our bodies because that's what it's used to, and moving away from that. So even though our habits may be negative or something that are not good for us, it's what our bodies are used to. So getting out of it is not always easy. However, again, replacing what it is that we don't want in our lives with something that we do want, and that's what we know in unity, getting rid of what doesn't serve us and moving into a space of allowing what will serve us better come into our lives. But instead of just waiting, we are creating. And that's what Dr. Joe is going to tell us. He says, we're not going to try to ignore that we are sick. That's not it at all. And we're not asking you to fake being something that you're not. But it is starting to get into a space of allowing that pure potential, that quantum field, to be available to you at all times. Not someday, not when it's the right time, but right now. We can get there right here and right now. And you did that during the kaleidoscope meditation. You got into a space of pure possibility. And when you were in that space of meditation, you heard the affirmations. The affirmations came into your consciousness, even though you may not have really been aware of it, and heard those things about yourself, those positive things that I am healed, I am whole. All of those things. See, the body can change, and you know that. It's a wonderful thing. It is more than we can even imagine. It has more power than we can ever even replicate. And so we need to tap into that power. We need to not be afraid anymore and to be willing to take that leap of faith that this could be the right thing, because it will be. So even though your pain may not disappear overnight, you will change. You have reclaimed then that inner power within you. And that alone is the first step to healing. You have reclaimed who you are. And that is the first step to healing. And we in Unity know that. We affirm the expression of our divine healing within us at all times. Health is our true nature, and our spirit has no limits. And so Dr. Joe teaches us and talks to us about that. He provides that bridge between quantum physics and prayer, neuroscience and meditation, between spiritual and the practical applications in the world. He reminds us that we're not just observers, but we are co-creators in our lives. He says your personality creates your personal reality. Okay, I want you to say that to yourself. My personality creates my personal reality. But if you change your thoughts, you change your emotions, you change your habits, then you literally become a brand new person. Change who you are, move into what you're becoming, and allow that to unfold. And to bring that and allow that change to happen in your life. It isn't magic. It is a method, a spiritual method to be able to create something that you would like to have, that wholeness and healing. It is sacred. It is something, it's that holy space within us that we always go into when we're in meditation. It's beneath all the conditioning that we receive from our family and our friends in our lifetimes, behind the traumas that we've experienced, behind the story that we've been told. And it's about becoming the best version of ourselves. And if we don't step outside of what we've always been, we will always be what we've always been. You need to remember that we need to step into something new, and we can only do that when we change our reality. Changing our personal reality by changing our personality. So I'd like to take you, before we go into meditation, I want to take you into a meditation that kind of helps you get into that space of healing. It's not really, it's like a prep for meditation. So when you sit, and you can close your eyes if you'd like, and bring your attention to your heart, and allow yourself to breathe into that space where your heart is. Just take a moment. And you can know and you can feel in this moment that there is gratitude, and there is love, and there is peace. And you can choose one of those, or you can choose all of them if you want. Gratitude, love, peace, acceptance, ease. And take this elevated emotion, this emotion that you're experiencing right now. You can feel it in every cell of your body. Let it grow. Allow it to expand, to envelop your entire being. Let it fill your chest and your arms and your hands and your belly and your legs and your feet, and let the whole body become enveloped in this feeling. And it's in this space of elevated emotion, this space of being quiet and contemplative, a space where stress cannot touch you, that healing and wholeness happens. You can see it in this moment. You can feel it, and you can claim it as your own, as if it's already true. Because in some dimension, in that quantum field, it is true. And all you have to do is accept it. And you can stay in that field of potential, that field of healing and wholeness all the time. By directing yourself, accepting that those negative thoughts and ideas, emotions are something that's part of your experience as a human being, but you can direct your heart and your mind to those elevated emotions and put yourself into a healing state. So as we go into our next meditation, we're going to take this elevated state and stay with your eyes closed if that makes you feel good. And I'm going to share the meditation with you. Close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And as you inhale, imagine that you're inhaling light. And as you exhale, allow any tension to ease away with the breath. As you gently breathe in and out at a natural pace, place your hand over your heart and affirm with me, I am one with divine life. The healing presence of God flows through me now. I am one with divine life. The healing presence of God flows through me now. Feeling this truth setting in and seeing any resistance that you may be holding, and let it go. Picture yourself bathed in a soft, radiant light, a light that is pure love and wholeness. As you continue to rest in this loving light, silently repeat to yourself, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in divine peace. May every cell of my body be whole and well. May I know my oneness with God. Again, may I be filled with loving kindness. May I be held in divine peace. May every cell of my body be whole and well. May I know my oneness with God. Imagine the light within you expanding, gently touching any areas of discomfort or tension. If a thought of self-judgment arises, let it go. Return to the truth. You are whole. You are loved. You are divine. Now bring your awareness to the others in your space, those who are gathered with you in spirit and intention, or people or pets who may be sharing the space with you. Picture them each surrounded by that same radiant light. Feel the connection between you, a circle of divine love. Silently offer to them, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in divine peace. May you be whole and well. May you feel the love that unites us all. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in divine peace. May you be whole and well. May you feel the love that unites us all. If you know someone within your group or in your home who are facing a challenge, hold them deeply in your heart and trust that divine love is at work. Now bring to mind someone you love outside of your house or outside of this group who may need healing, physical, emotional, or spiritual. Envision them surrounded by the same radiant light, and silently offer them, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in divine peace. May every part of you be whole and well. May you remember your oneness with God. Again, may you be filled with loving kindness. May you be held in divine peace. May every part of you be whole and well. May you remember your oneness with God. Trust that divine love is at work in ways beyond what you can see. Now imagine this healing light radiating outward to your community, your country, and the entire world. Affirm for them, may all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be held in divine peace. May all be whole and well. May all awaken to the love that connects us all. May all beings be filled with loving kindness. May all be held in divine peace. May all be whole and well. And may all awaken to the love that connects us all. Visualize our beautiful earth wrapped in divine light, pulsating with love and harmony. Bringing your awareness back to your breath, feeling the peace that now resides within you and around you. Affirm again, I am whole, I am loved, I am divine. I am whole, I am loved, and I am divine. And when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes and carry this healing presence into your day. And so it is. as we ease out of that meditation, knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So whether as a human being you experience pain or transition or fatigue or rebirth or whatever it is, know that you are not broken. You are not stuck. You are becoming. You are evolving. And healing is not a miracle that's reserved for some special person, for that lucky few in the world. It is something that you have access to. You provide the environment, it will be the outcome. So it's a natural, effortless concept when we start thinking of just being instead of just trying to succeed. Being is the most important. And what happens is that we are becoming the next being, and then the next being, and then the next being in each and every moment. And it's the natural process of becoming whole again, to being who you truly are. So I want to thank you for listening. And I want to take us out with a benediction before we go into conversation. So I would like you to remember the power of the lives that live within you. Not just the concept, but the truth that is always there. Allow yourself to walk forward in life in trust, knowing that healing is already unfolding each and every moment. And it's always going on in the background, unseen, known and unknown. May your heart stay open to all of those elevated emotions like love and curiosity and joy, and allow yourself to be open to the possibility of the quantum field. And entrench and embody yourself in the presence of peace and all of those things that allow yourself to feel easeful in life. You're not defined by your past or who you were before. You're not limited by your diagnosis or what somebody else is telling you. Not bound by any stories that you've created. You are a radiant, energetic light in this world, always healing, always becoming, always whole, and always perfectly you. And so it is. Amen. So I want to thank you for listening. It was a little longer today, but I did want us to really embody the energy of healing today. And so let's